All right, testing audio. Looking at YouTube audio. Making sure it's good on my end. Okay. All right, so apologies for YouTube. Unfortunately, the discussion went a little too far, so we'll not repeat it. We might look at that a bit tomorrow, but for the week, for the expected move this week, we are looking at 145 points. What this means is that currently, based on Friday's close and based around the top side and bottom side of the expected move, the range that has been set, and more notably the lower bound of the expected move, puts the price action below the most recent correction low that we have in the S&Ps. So if our repetitious activity that we've seen week over week, which is lower bound expected move trading and potential risk of breaching the lower bound of the expected move, what that does is it also puts us at a technical disadvantage. It indicates that the market has a chance inside of this week to break the most recent sell swing, and more notably to tag 40-60 if we see an expected move retest. Now, there are weeks that this has not happened. There are weeks where it does happen. Obviously, the objective here is to look technically and try and find rationale for whether or not the market is going to move higher or lower. But if I'm looking at a full picture here of what the market's been doing, what has been the activity so far, and what is the risk? The expected move says the risk is that we start to test this low, and more notably, even can go much further. So keep that in mind. Have your expected move marked for the week, 40-60 to the downside and about 43-50 to the top side. In this range, price does not have to test either side. It doesn't have to test any of them. But the more likely scenarios, we stay within this range. And what's been occurring so far is that we trade near the lower bounds. So a technician will say we are at risk of losing our low. And as we have seen in more recent trade, as I switch over to the SPY, put up maybe our moving averages here, and we'll talk real briefly about what's about to occur. The SPY's tightening of price activity has been quite notable. You can actually see some of these swing highs and lows marked from a few weeks prior. We have this sort of absolute low, which is at risk currently. We have our swing high made from this low. We have our higher low and this interesting gap formation that occurred last week. And then, of course, now we have a potential lower high. It's already been set because we have a close that is weaker than this daily setup. So all of these levels are set. The stage is set for volatility. One of these areas of the market is likely to break. And what we've seen so far is that the trend and the strongest impact to the market has been to the bearish side. So when we look at things like moving averages, what can cause additional fear in the market? Well, a lot of people, albeit it is a lagging indicator, are looking for those momentum changes. And when we're thinking about short-term trends, we're thinking about things like the 20 period. We're still in a downtrend. We've seen a recent retest of the 20. it has been a bearish reaction to that retest. And so far, we're still trading underneath the 20. We're also trading below the 50. This has been our key trending moving average for a long period on last year's activity. Corrections to the 50 period have been bought. They've often led to new all-time highs. And whenever the market loses the 50, fear and uncertainty certainly sets in. This is our evergreen sort of news cycle correction. Market only corrected here approximately 6 to 7%. So that fear and uncertainty comes typically with price, but also with some of our technical structure in regards to losing moving averages. Usually strong gap downs, strong back tests, and even threatening additional lows. But what's occurring today, and this will probably occur in the next session or two, is we're actually getting changes of momentum in regards to our posture. Now, it's been obvious so far with the speed of the sell-off that we've been in a downtrend. But from a moving average perspective, whenever you have moving averages starting to point in the direction of the trend, and when you start to get them aligned, what this means is sort of a wave pattern of 20, 50, and in this case, 200. You can put on the 100 as well. That is acceptable. All of these moving averages are starting to curl. Now, it's a little too, I would say, obvious for us in seeing all of this sort of drawdown with our moving averages, but the average investor, someone who maybe doesn't look at the market as often, will be starting to hear about something known as the death cross. And what this simply is the daily 50 and 200-day moving average, assuming that they call it the daily death cross as opposed to something like a weekly or monthly death cross, as it take multiple years to form in an uptrending market. These are fear-related items that we might start seeing in the news cycle. The market has put in a death cross, and they'll start talking about what the market expectation looks like whenever a death cross occurs. Is the market bullish for 6 months after a death cross? Is it bearish? What's the expectation of a percentage gain and percentage loss? All of this uncertainty, historical metrics, which is something we'll talk about this week, some other historical aspects of what we're going through in the market cycle at the moment, along with the rate hike that should be occurring this week. These are all signals for the market. Some are leading, some are lagging, but they all have their own place in probability. They have their own place in reaction by the average investor and the average trader. And it gives us a sense of what's working in the market. If you're in a downtrend, unfortunately, even though this is the S&P, the most likely scenario is that the downtrend will continue until you see shorter term trend changes that hold. You're in a weekly downtrend, show me a 4-hour trend change. That at least is an attempt to change that weekly downtrend. You're in a daily downtrend, show me an hourly trend change. Show me one that's holding and breaking bullish. That one at least has a chance to change the trend. But until all of that forms, you stick with the theme, which is downtrends have lower highs, they have lower lows. The moving averages are in favor of the price action. And as this market potentially is starting to curl lower, we will see that whether or not this continues to be the case, or are we starting to find that weekly support, something that we've been in search for quite a while. And I'll kind of move some of this off of the chart. This is where things can get a bit busy. The more information we have gaps, we have daily levels, we have weekly levels. This market is still pressing to the downside. And what we're looking for is the shift. We're looking for, is this going to change, or is what's working going to continue to work, which is selling the upside move, selling the pullbacks, shorting certain parts of the market, and even posturing yourselves in areas of the market that are outperforming. We've seen some of our internal moderators, people like Artie. They've been setting up trade strategy, talking on their weekly option series on YouTube about how to prepare for a late business cycle market. The idea that certain sectors outperform in this market. It's still a bullish area of the market to look at, but it's not one that's going to carry the S&P. It's also true that there's pressure in different industries, in different countries, sort of growth and whether or not this is going to bleed into the US markets. We've seen the effects of the China market. How dramatic have these sell-offs taken? And even as we look this morning, we're looking at a gap down list that has a lot of China related names. The typical candidates, the BABAs, the PDDs, the JDs, they're all in sort of a free fall at the moment. They're looking for the next level of support. And in this case, their volume is what's so convincing. We've lost areas of trade. We've lost monthly levels. And this is where true fear can set into these markets. So be looking for opportunity here, depending on your time frame. But understand that if you're a trader, you want to be following the trend. Counter trend has its place, but counter trend requires setup. Trend does not. Trend is straightforward and has clear acceptance and rejectance. Did the market print a lower high and make a new low? You're in a downtrend. Did the market change the trend on any time frame and hold? Yes or no? That'll tell you whether the trend is still continuing. So all in all, some morning sort of observations. We do have crude, which is down another, looks like 4%. It was about 3% earlier. Crude does appear to have, quote unquote, had its parabolic top for the time being. What this is not doing at the moment is putting too much weakness inside of XLE. XLE is holding up quite well. It did have a relative top last week in regards to a high that has not been breached. So what we can be looking for is the eventual consolidation and what form this takes in the overall daily uptrend. Now, in this moment, depending on your time frame, a strategist would be looking at this as a very clear level of risk. And what you can be doing is saying, I don't necessarily want to be long yet. I know it's an uptrend. I know that the odds are in the favor of this making a new high once it has pulled back enough. But I'm also aware that pullbacks in this market tend to go to the 20. We're not there yet. And what I have is a signal that the market may be ready to trade sideways and or down. And what you can be doing as an options trader is either taking profit. If you were long biased, this could be your eventual upside target. You could also be looking to sell against this high, basically to form a strategy where you're collecting premium with the understanding that the market has a lower probability of moving up before consolidating. Obviously, that can take the form of multiple weeks, depending on the type of setup, just where the market goes flat as opposed to straight up. And this is also true if we look at other sectors. There's going to be these technical bounces. This is our weaker sector, XLK. As a strategist, you might say this is not the greatest of longs. Unless I'm short-term minded, I don't necessarily want to just buy all out calls just because I have a one-day bounce signal. Usually the market will not perform in those scenarios without major reaccumulation before setting up the reversal. So instead, I may say the downtrend is more likely, but for now, I have a signal that tells me I can sell against this level. I can sell against a reversal capitulation low. I can sell against the largest buy-up candle ever seen in the S&P for the past 2 years. These are strategies. They're obviously what we talked about a bit last week and the week prior. Selling verticals, finding moments in time where the market is stopping what it's currently doing and preparing for the next setup in the trend, which is to short the downside, or basically to short the rip, to short the pullback, to short resistance, whatever you're using. There's always ways to find this moment in time. False breakout looks are great. Resistance checks that fail to expand are great. And obviously just looking to see, does the market make a fresh low or does it not? And in the meantime, you can have profit targets before that does occur. So the goal here is obviously we're in a market condition that I think a lot of traders are unfamiliar with. Whether they started trading last year or the year prior, there's been only one strategy that's really been the most successful, which is long, long, long. Everything is bullish. Markets are going up. Whenever things change, the quicker you're able to adapt to those changes, the more successful you will find yourself in the long term, because markets do cycle. They go through these phases of euphoria and manic into downside panic, and in some cases anxiety, uncertainty, and fear. Are we home yet? Not sure. The VIX is still above 30. We're still in a market that has some wild price activity. I can tell you that in a bullish market, VIX does not often stay elevated for this long. These wild price swings are more indicative of a weak or bearish style market, one that typically has signs of a lack of participation, lower volume, especially in some of our futures products. The volume in here is almost lethargic. We have those days where the volume picks up, but this is very low volume trade overall, even though the range is high. So we want to stick with what's working. We want to look for signs of change. And last week we had some early signals. VIX did breach its trend line. The volatility index, or the volatility futures, did break down from its trend. The sort of technical look of what's been happening to make new swing highs. We pull back, make a fresh high, more fear in the market. We had something change last week. This is early signals, but now we're looking for the technicals to confirm a thesis. Are we going to see a bullish reaction to the Fed? Are we going to need this event to pass for the market to breathe to the upside? Or is the market going to sell this event as it has every event this past year, or basically since the beginning of this year? Want to keep an eye on that, as we do have volatility futures still in backwardation. But last week they did come off to near flat, which would basically be a term structure of the front two contracts, not the most active, but the front two trading at approximately the same price. They were basically equivalent for one day. Now, this is slightly back in backwardation. It's not as dramatic as it has been. We're not looking at $2 wide spreads here, but this is, once again, the fear in the market has not alleviated. The volatility is not alleviated. The signals of people rushing to cash has not alleviated. The dollar is still very much up. And while the bond market has been very poor in regards to some of what's occurring with some of the balance sheet of the Fed and what they're doing to the bond market, the TLT currently is in a bearish posture. So just like we've seen, if the correlation to tech, one of the lead sectors of the market, follows the bond market and the bonds are in a sell-off, tech is not necessarily the place to look. We'll see if this starts to break lower. We're at pretty much on the verge of a fresh low, and this is a low that was printed for at least TLT back in March of last year. So this is a 1-year low that the TLT is starting to threaten. Bond market was slash ZB, and then the notes market, 10-year itself, actually making fresh lows this week. So this is where we are. This is the market we're in. Trade it, respect it, understand what's working. We've had plenty of time to look at the change. Now it's a moment in time to say, are we basically going to do the same thing again? Or is there going to be something much more impactful? We'll look for those signals. But as always, what's been working right now has been using the downtrend to our favor, finding moments to sell against the trend, or even to step into it with the right posturing, the right risk or reward in case the trend does break. And obviously looking at the market as a gauge of where money is headed. Money has been headed into energy. We'll be looking at things like natural gas potentially to break out this week. This might be another sort of energy signal. Crude apparently, at least in the futures product, appears to have topped for now. We'll want to keep an eye on that as we're starting to backtest the 20. Much more of a consolidative range than another straight shot to things like 160 and above. And then last but not least, just kind of showing some other ideas here. The RSP, which is the equal weighted ETF for the S&P 500. Every stock represents a equal percentage of the performance here. So it shows, is the market as a whole performing, or are we seeing a bit of just relative weakness, or all stocks heading in one direction? And when the RSP is starting to threaten things like technical lows, sitting near support, and the idea of this trend structure starting to break down, it's not just tech. It's not like it used to be where one or two sectors showed weakness. It's a lot of our downside occurring across different sectors, across different stocks, across different areas of interest, and even finding its way into what should be an inflationary beneficiary of the market. All we have right now is energy. That's the only real bull. We have some utility, which might have topped for the channel, and then we have maybe staples, which guess what? That broke down the 200 last week. So where's the bull? And if you find it, let me know. But until then, trade safe. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. My name is Jared. We'll talk more tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Every Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm, and welcome back. How are you doing, my
Hey,
friend?
good morning, brother. I'm doing well. I apologize. I have not used my camera in a while, and there's some issue that I haven't been able to overcome. So you can't see me today, but I am here. Happy to be back. Hope everybody is doing well.
We are glad to have you back, my friend. Hopefully, your time off was you got some pretty good rest there, had some fun with the family. So, welcome back.
Absolutely.
Welcome
Thank you.
back. All right, guys, let's get to it. Our gappers list this morning, a lot of stuff in the red. Again, just so the overall theme continues. As you guys know, it's just everything going on with the market, everything going on overseas, just the way things are swinging back and forth and affecting things. So today we're down. Friday we gapped up, if you guys remember that, and we sold off. And then today we are, well, actually, we're slightly up. Based on technicals from the previous day close, but we sold off a little bit this morning back into that previous day close. So pretty much almost starting flat. And then we'll talk a little bit about this on the overall SPY in just a second. As far as our tickers, a couple of things in the green, not a whole lot. And by the names of these, I could tell they're not great already. I have not looked into them yet, but we will. And then Ian, on our gapping down list, a few of the names we've seen on both sides of the fence here, green and red. Today we have most of these in the red. The thing on this today, though, I don't see a lot of the bigger names hitting the scanners yet, right? I'm not seeing like the AMDs, the Apples. They probably must be pretty flat. I know they have volume, but they're not hitting this scanner just yet. So will be interesting today, just 30 minutes from now, to see how this list is going to be showing when we're done here. Norm, what's the latest and greatest on the overall SPY? I know you've been off a couple of days, but what do you have for us today?
Yeah, man. You'll if you look at our list, we've got a buyout on the upside, and then nothing but European banks. So they've been destroyed recently. We can peek at those in just a second, but they're popping up a little bit this morning. Just a little bit of a recovery there. See a ton of China on the downside. For some reason, my calendar info didn't come out there correctly, but on the downside, a ton of China. There's a few reasons for that. A lot of people are citing the largest COVID numbers that they've seen in a long time and shutting down very economically, particularly in the technology sector areas of China for a week. I don't know. It's so much that there's some delisting concerns that we've talked about over the last 6 months or so, especially over the last 6 months or so. But on top of that, China being on Russia's side in the Ukraine conflict, I think might be causing some concern amongst investors too. So, yeah, that's what we got.
Yeah, definitely, definitely concerning, and we're seeing the reaction to a lot of that in the way these stocks are trading. All right, guys, let's get to it. We're gonna remove our list here from yesterday. Control A, Control X gets rid of that, and we're gonna take a look at our gappers list, starting with the gap up TRQ. You mentioned, was this the buyout you mentioned, TRQ,
Yeah,
right?
that's a
Yeah.
buyout.
So
Yeah.
that's not looking pretty at us for us at all. You can see that here. Horrible trading stock for the most part. Heading down, we have DB here, and again, as Norm mentioned already, these don't trade very well. They're gapping up today of 9% here. This one's 6%, 5 and 3, and I believe these are all foreign.
Those are
Yeah,
all
yep.
European banks.
Yep. So again, guys, are they in play? Yes, they are absolutely in play today. But this is just not our style of trading. At least for me, I don't like to trade these at all. So I'm gonna put these on the back
Trade
burner.
Ideas tries to make me look like an idiot because it's literally the second I say everything left is a
This
European
is yeah,
bank,
yeah,
an Israeli shipping company pops up. So,
yep, yep.
nevertheless, I wouldn't call it a good trader anyway. So,
Yeah, yeah. We saw this last week or the week before. It had popped up on some news and some okay value. Might have been this day here, I think. Yeah, that's the gap up there. I didn't keep it on my list, guys. Careful if you are going to be trading this one. Gapping down this morning, we have a whole lot going on here, and I think there'll be some more as the morning continues here. NKTR this morning. So let's start with the top five, then we'll hand it off to Norm and the room. Down 50% today. This one, very low trading volume, not a low flow, sitting at 181,000. I'm not liking the overall light volume that we're getting on this. Now today, no, I'm not sure if they have a great catalyst that might be willing to put this on here. I mean, it's just not a great one. Even the price action below
yeah,
close to five. right?
They had a phase 3 trial on I believe it was a skin cancer treatment that didn't work.
All right. So again, that's a big catalyst for them. You can see already in the pre-market they're trading the amount of volume they would trade at the for the entire day on their trading day, right? 1.7 million so far. So could that change things? Yes, I'm not convinced on it. I hope to find something better, and I know we will find something better, guys. We've seen it happen all last week where our list was kind of heavy on a bunch of stocks that were pretty crappy, and then how great it got towards the market open, and then even after the bell, maybe we had to wait a couple of minutes to to find our spot there. Here's a couple of oil mining companies. You got Huza. I saw some other ones down here as well. USG, I'm not sure if it's down, but I know some other ones are on here. Again, guys, they are in play. They're swinging back and forth, whether they're up or down. You can definitely put them on your list. I've been staying away from them. The only one I traded probably 3 weeks ago was right? This was a very aggressive.
Was Indo not in play anymore?
It might not be. For me, it's not. I mean, we're back down to reality here a little bit. So for me,
for the last 2 weeks I was here before I went on vacation, it was every day. It was
every day
on the list every day. Didn't trade it, but it was on the list.
Yeah, yeah. I think I traded on a day you were off, and I knew Norman's off today. I could trade this, and I'm not gonna get crap for it. But yeah, it's definitely not in play today. Futu this morning, man, they're just taking a hit. They're down again, 10%. Last week I think we might have put it on our secondary list because they been getting slammed. Look at Friday here, how beautiful that was. So I don't know what's going on with these guys, but man, they are not having fun the last couple of weeks.
That I was talking about.
So a few of them like that, guys. We have Futu, we have Baba. We had it on our list yesterday as well. I'm not sure if it's in here. Yeah, Baba is in here, guys. We had everything. Look at these are all. Now that I think about it, most of them are on the Chinese side. JD, LI, Baidu, Baba, Neo. I'm not sure about Momo. Is Momo Chinese as well? I don't know about this one.
Yep.
It is? Wow. All right.
Yep.
So
I'm not
here's
familiar
Apple.
with Momo, but yes.
Yeah, here's a list, guys. That's the whole overall story here. We're not gonna dive into all of these. I am gonna watch Baba. This is all goes to that delisting situation. So I will have Baba on my list. I saw Apple come up there. I'm gonna have that as well. So we'll put it on here right now. I know Neo's been interesting. I'm gonna put it on there as well. We'll look at Neo and let's see what else. Again, just a whole bunch of names here. Let's see the stuff that's not somewhat related to China at the moment. We have a firm earnings or some kind of well, not earnings, but maybe some news coming out on a firm here as we see this thing just kind of starting with some volume. We'll put it as a possible. We'll come back to when we get more information on that one. So a firm coming in right now with some decent volume the last couple of minutes. Rivian and KLA, guys, you can
look
at
some updated guidance just a couple of minutes ago, right when we were coming on.
Okay. All right. So we'll keep A from there. We'll see how that develops. Oxy, guys, let's take a look at Oxy today. Again, heavily in play. Their data looks interesting, worth keeping an eye on for now until we get something better if we do. And then we have Apple on the list. Okay, we'll stop here. Norm, what do you like on your end this morning so far?
Man, I have been out of it for a week, so I am starting off slow and just trying to get my feet wet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago about somebody asked you when you come back from vacation how do you get going again? And yes,
slowly,
starting slow, guys. Just taking it easy, seeing what the pace of the market is, and just kind of getting back into shape there.
Yeah, exactly.
JD looks interesting, popping up here. JD, Baba. We'll put JD as a possible for now. All right, let's take it to the room, guys, to see what you guys have on your list this morning and what do you like. Let's bring this over here, and we will start. You guys lost me. Oh no, you lost Carlos. Can you guys hear me? No, volume looks good. Michael. Oh, okay. No, you're talking about. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yep, set the room and you're good. Perfect. Okay, JD, Jason, got JD on the list. That is good. Apple on here as well. Down on news as well. What's the news on Apple? There are individual news on these guys. But yeah, I got Apple. They look very interesting right now. 2.2 million shares traded, and they're down at 2%. So yeah, definitely in play this morning. Bank of America, Mary's giving us that. Let's take a look. Bank of America, BAK today.
Apple's part of the China issue with the shutdowns due to COVID and Shenzhen and such.
So that's affecting them. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right,
Foxconn. Foxconn is one of their biggest suppliers, and they're shut down for at least a week. So that's part of what's going on there.
KSCP. Is that? Let me sure I got this right.
That's Knightscope. That's those. Remember the robot security guards?
Oh yeah, with no arms.
I think that just looks like R2D2 rolling around with no arms.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just it is basically a rolling camera. It's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna record.
It's very low float too, so be careful on that one.
Yeah, careful on this one, guys. Up 50%, 15%. Good volume coming in now. Just be very careful. Definitely in play. Might be the low flow of the day today. We'll put it on here. KSCP. Was that right? KSCP. There we go. All right. And I saw Bank of America. Let's take a look at that one. Someone mentioned this one this morning. Pretty flat right now. I know they're up 1.5, 233,000. I think I'm going to wait on this one at the moment. Let's see. Let's see if it hits the scanner so we start seeing some banking stuff pulling up. A little bit more aggressive.
There will be banking this week. We've got which I failed to mention at the beginning, but that's a good reminder right there. We've got the FOMC Fed meeting tomorrow and Wednesday with the policy announcement, 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and Jerome Powell press conference. I mean, he's already all but said they're going to raise a quarter point. And that's the extent of it. So it's not really going to be a surprise or anything, but it'll just be interesting to see how they speak about it. That'll definitely move things.
Yeah. Yep. I agree 100%. So we'll be looking out for them. Maybe not today, but we'll see. Usually right after, you start seeing them, or during we've seen that, of course. All right. Let's see here. MULN. Let's see what we got here. I got this one up already. Up 25%, 37 million shares traded, guys. I mean, you got a lot of volume at the moment here. Look at the price, though, $1.70. I'm not a big a trader of these lower price stocks. Even if they're not low flow, they can trade a little bit weird with the price action. I mean, this one is this one is actually a low flow at 4.2 million. So I don't know. I think it can look better. Let's see. We'll come back to it. Let's come back to it. MULN. Let's give it a little time there. But at the moment, I'm not a big fan of that one. DD today. We'll look at a few more. Then we'll see what YouTube has for us, your YouTube friends. DD this morning, also a lower price stock. I believe we looked at the ticker. Sounds familiar. But I thought it was probably a higher price, and it was at some point, at least when we were watching it. 4 billion shares flow out of this price here, man. This is a real no. For me, I just don't see how this will trade well today. 2.3 million shares traded already, and look what you're seeing here. I mean, this is not this is not one to watch. So just be mindful. And you're saying the daily looks interesting. Yeah, the daily looks interesting because of this drop here, right? You had this big drop here on Friday. But I don't know how you would trade this. Well, what strategy you have for this, right? But if you have a strategy and that falls in your criteria, go for it. But I don't see one for myself here. Let's check on YouTube, guys. What do we have this morning? We will start with, let's head down here, SQ. All right, SQ this morning. SQ pretty much flat right now. Pretty light volume. But I know with everything going on, obviously, SQ can get affected a little bit here. We saw some great action out of them on Friday, it looks like. Possible right now. I don't think they're heavily in play at the moment. YS Travel up, CCL, United Airlines. Let's see. Let's take a look at American Airlines. I mean, I won't call this up, though. I won't call this up.
0.75% isn't anything special.
And even on their highest here at around 1435, I won't call this up. I'll look at the daily. This is pretty much flat right now, right? This is down, this is up. This is pretty much flat at the moment. So I won't say that. And their volume right now pretty light on all of these, right? So I don't see them in play right now. I think they will be, if not today, down the line this week, depending on oil prices and everything else gets affected, and obviously what's going on outside of the country. But I don't think they're good at the moment. So BBT, yes, long BBT for sure. Crypto Diaries there. All right, let's stop here, guys. I think we are all set. Did I miss anyone? I don't believe I did. No, we are pretty good. And let's get over to our community events and announcements. No, but I don't know if I got a new sheet. I might have missed it.
No,
You sent
just
it.
it's
Okay.
we've changed up the format, and I wasn't able to get a new one. So just roll
Oh,
with
no
that.
worries. Yep.
Roll
Let
with
me.
that. I'll go through it, and then I'll get you a new one for tomorrow.
Okay, no worries, my friend. All right, guys, if you haven't done so already over on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very much. To get to that 250 mark if we can.
All right. Since it's Monday, we'll just do a quick reminder of the weekly rundown. You've got a swing trade session with Brian 2:30s on Monday most weeks, and then onboarding with Carlos at 7, followed immediately by technology at 8. Trade reviews with Eamon at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Then success webinars Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights psychology. Thursday, you've got mentorship with Andrew at 11, Eamon at noon, Ed at 4 or 4:30, depending on whether it's earning seasons or not, and group mentorship with Thor at 8 p.m. Also, you've got the new trader Q&A, which the time has changed now, 2 p.m., so I'll get that fixed as well in the updated ones, and then crypto on Friday with Jared at 11. That onboarding session that I mentioned every Monday, 7 p.m. Everybody is welcome, no matter your membership category, trial member, or anything. You are welcome to go there. And remind me, that's in the classroom, correct, Carlos?
Yes, that is correct. In the classroom.
Exactly. All right. Tonight, technology webinar with Kyle, 8 p.m., talking about journaling and corralling your data. Then tomorrow night for Success webinar, you got Thor, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about analyzing the ladder structure on the level 2. Wednesday, you've got Mike. He'll be talking about how to employ your tradebook edge just like a casino does. Thinking in probabilities, very important. Mentorship, as I mentioned, already mentioned the times there. On Thursday with Andrew, Ed, and Thor at various times. Then don't forget about our free web-based replay simulator at stocktradingsimulator.com. And while you're there, you can sign up for homework assignments that you'll receive a couple of times a week. We don't sell that list or spam it. And the Valentine's promotion is actually over, but we do have St. Patrick's, so you can use Lucky 50 or Luck 50. And then if you'd like to give the room a try, you haven't been here, you can use a promo code premarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership, 7 calendar days, 5 trading days, after which it automatically cancels. It will not renew itself. It's a one-time payment. Good morning, Creta. I'm sorry I don't have a camera this morning. How are you today? Well, I cannot hear Creta. Carlos, did you guys have this issue again last week?
No, last week it was working perfectly fine.
Hang on just a second, Creta.
Creta might know the fix now.
Maybe it's on her end. Both of you guys check that out. No. What's that? Oh, sad face from Creta. I feel bad. Let's see here. Carlos?
Yep.
Let me check YouTube. Creta? No, nothing from Creta on YouTube either.
Yeah, not coming up. Yeah, I don't see it coming into my system at all right now, so it wouldn't be on YouTube either.
What did we do last time? We had her come into the room, right?
She came into the room last time, yes.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Creta, you want to go over and log into the chat room, and we'll just stream from there like we did last time? Go ahead, and I'll introduce you while you do that. When you get over there, just immediately take off. We'll be good to go. Yeah, so Creta today is going to be talking about an extremely important topic to everybody, which is 5 tips to successfully transition from sim to live trading. Bear Bull traders, we speak a lot about trading in sim. Carlos, can you kill this screenshot that you've got up right now? It's just Creta frozen. There you go. It was something we talk about a lot and encourage is practice in simulator. Hell, we built a simulator. So She's going to be talking about that when she gets over here in just a second in the room. Sorry for the confusion. We will figure that out and find a way to get it work.
All right, guys, as Creator logs on, let's go ahead and show our friends what our chat room looks like. So I'm going to bring over our chat, and every morning, guys, we're open this chat room around 7:30 a.m. in the morning, and you can see we have our scanners ready to go, so you get access to a couple of trade idea scanners. And you can also, throughout the day, you can have this screen up, or you can switch to whoever's trading at that moment. And you can, I see Creator's on, so we'll switch over to her. 1 second, make sure I can hear her. Creator?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna turn off my mic here so nobody gets an echo, and we'll be good to go.
Awesome. Thanks. Okay, guys. So today we're actually talking about 5 tips for moving from sim to live trading. So how to actually plan for this and to make sure that you have everything in place before you go live so that you're completely minimizing any risk to you for making that transition. So the first tip that we have is just to prepare for the pressure. So from this, we mean that when you're moving to live, obviously the pressure is going to increase. And that means that anything that is an issue for you in sim trading, or anything that you've noticed is difficult for you on the trading psychology side of things, is going to get magnified once you start trading live. So if you're somebody that has a tendency to revenge trade, if you take some losing trades, or maybe you find that if you have a loss, you're much more hesitant to get into the next trade, that's likely to magnify as soon as you go into live trading. Because once you up the pressure, then you find that all of your fault lines in terms of trading psychology will get pressed. So know your trading kryptonite. And if you can really identify what all of those aspects of your trading psychology are that you need to work on, then you can put techniques in place before you ever go near live trading in order to help you to mitigate them and to address them. So if you know your trading kryptonite, identify the events that set you off in your trading. And by that, I mean, you know, is it that you tend to revenge trade, or is it that you hesitate, or is it that you jump out of trades too soon? So once you're under pressure, what is it that you do in your trading that undermines your trading performance and impacts your P&L? Really get to know what that is, and then introduce techniques to account for that. So that could be having a decision tree. So you know that if you have taken a losing trade and then normally on the next trade you tend to break your trading rules, you might introduce a decision tree of a series of actions that you take in order to disrupt that automatic degrading in your performance. Or even it might be that you have your affirmation script that addresses all of these ways that pressure can impact your trading, and you're really listening to that a lot before you ever go near live trading in order to bolster your performance. So prepare for the pressure. The second tip is let the data decide. So people often think when they're moving from sim to live, and they've been doing sim for a while, they're really eager to start live trading, that because they're so impatient, or they might feel like they have to get there as quick as possible. But it's really not about just feeling ready or feeling confident. The best thing you can do is actually present card hold data that decides for you when you're ready to move to live trading. So you can do some strategic planning around what are the milestones in your trading that you need to hit and consistently in order to tell you that you're actually ready to go into live trading. So that could look like maybe you make, I don't know, is it 5 or plus profit in a month, and you do that 3 months consistently, and then you feel you're ready to transition to live. So whatever those goals are for you, or whatever the metrics make sense to you, make sure that they're actually measurable, objective, and that you hold yourself accountable to them. And then once you've hit that milestone, then you know you're ready to transition to live, and you've made that decision based on strategic thinking as opposed to emotion. So all data, no drama. This reduces the risk of acting on bias or elation or impatience. So you're really making that transition when you know that your trading performance supports that move. The next tip then is just to take 100% accountability. So that's to make your trading plan very concrete in as much as that fits your, you know, the technical way that you trade or your strategy. So can you really clearly define what constitutes your A+ setup? Define what constitutes a reason to get out of a trade. So, you know, your profit targets and even then your technical reasons to exit, all of that. So get very clear on what your rules are and try and write them down in very explicit detail. So then you'll be able to hold yourself accountable to that. So this, again, is while you're still in sim, you're doing all of this. So you won't just be aiming for a green day. You might actually be aiming to take all the A+ setups that appear in a 1.5 hour window, for example. So depending on what aspect of your trading psychology you're working on. If you're someone that hesitates to take trades, that might be your goal for the day. If you're somebody that takes too many trades, maybe you restrict yourself to 3 trades in a day, and then you're making sure that they're as good as they can be. So make sure that every part of your trading plan has very clear rules, as much as that makes sense. And then track how you're actually faring against those metrics. So you want to actually track daily if you're sticking to those rules. And when you do this over time, you'll build up a really good picture of genuinely how your trading performance is going. So again, we're moving away from emotion and we're using data to let you know when it's right to move to live trading. The fourth tip is just to have consistent preparation and review routines. So in the morning, before you start trading, you want to make sure that you're both preparing from a technical perspective. So you're going through all of the checks that you would normally go through in order to be ready technically for your trading, but then you also want to go through your mental preparation. So you want to make sure that you're really getting yourself ready to be in the zone for trading. And that might include meditation, it could include affirmations, it might even just include 10 minutes of press ups or whatever works for you to get you in the right physical, mental, and emotional state to trade well. But the more consistent you can be about implementing that every day in the same way before trading, you're going to actually bring consistency to your trading performance. So you also then want to have a review routine. So every day after you finish your trading, have a sheet that captures all of the important tracking metrics that you need to track, and then make sure that you fill that in. So it doesn't need to be a big lengthy half-hour process, but just make sure that you're capturing the key metrics from the day and that you're consistently tracking them. And if you do that, then you'll actually be able to increase your confidence. So by doing the work in the morning, you'll be really improving your confidence. And then also by doing the work in the afternoon after you finish trading, you're increasing your accountability and also your motivation, because you'll be able to track progress even if it's not reflected in your P&L. So that's really important for helping you feel like you're making forward progress. And then the last tip is just to commit to full live days or full sim days. So when you do actually make the transition over, you want to make sure that you're not flipping between sim and live in the same day, because people can be tempted to do that. But that would be the same if you think of it in a sports context. It'd be like someone being in the middle of a championship match and then stopping and playing a practice game for 10 minutes. It's a completely, you're in a different kind of mindset when you do that, because if you're used to sim trading and you're trying to get used to live trading, you want to actually stay in the pressure as much as you can to see how it's affecting you. So what I would suggest is people start off, maybe if you want to make it a phase transition, you'd start off by doing say 1 day live a week, but make sure that you stay live for that whole session, so you're not flipping between sim and live. And then maybe the next week you're going to do it 2 days that week and see how you get on. So you can do it in a phased way that allows you to dip your toe in and to build it up and build up your confidence. But try not to flip between live and sim on the same day, because you're not actually getting the full exposure to the pressure that you need to get in order to see the data and see how trading live is affecting your trading performance. So in summary, if you want to make a really clean transition from sim to live trading, you want to be putting all these things in place well before you ever start live trading, so you're really preparing for it. And then you also just want to prepare for the increase in pressure and to remove any possibility of trading from an emotional state or trading from any sort of bias or impatience. So if you put all these tips in place, you'll be sure that you're actually working from an objective place, and that will put you in the best place possible in order to profit from your live trading.
All right, Kreda, thank you. Not sure
awesome.
If you can...
Thank you very much, Kreda. Have a great day. We will see you next week. Sorry about the issues. We will get it worked out and find out how to get you seamless next time around. Take care.
All right, guys, thank you very much, Kreda. Let's switch over back to our screens here. Make sure everybody has sounds. We will flip this switch here, and that should do it. Just want to confirm we are good with sound on YouTube, and that I also can hear Norm Give me 1 sec, guys. Okay, perfect. Looks like we are good. Okay, excellent. In chat as well. Sound good in the chat room. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, good. Sorry, just want to make sure we got confirmation before continuing here. All right, guys, let's get rolling. So I have a couple just on my list. I think this is going to change as we get into the market open. It usually does. Something will come up here that will add answers. But right now, I have Baba here, which is looking pretty weak at the moment. I have Apple on deck right now. Also, great volume this morning. They have their own catalyst, I believe, as well. Well, not their own catalyst, but something with the Chinese situation that's kind of affecting them this morning quite a bit. Down 2%, 2.7 million. I have Neo and Oxy as well on the list. So many you can put on here, guys. You have JD. You have a ton of Chinese companies being affected by the overall Chinese situation with the delisting and everything else going on there. So you have those. I have AFirm here as well. This one at the moment, 1.1 million shares traded. Again, they had some news earlier on. We'll see where this goes. So down right now 6%. At the moment, we'll see how this is going to continue. Right now, pre-market, there's some volume here. It is pushing some good volume, but right now, not trading very well, but it definitely in play this morning, and we have it SQ as well. So let's get to it. Levels for these 4 only, and that's it looks pretty good right now. That's all we need at the moment. It is Monday, so let's see how this week is going to continue or start at least. Love the pre-market. We are sitting at 80.50, so we'll put a level there, 80.50. Going to the left here, we have not been down here in quite some time. We saw that last week. It was something, I mean, I'm not going to go all the way back, actually. Hold on. Not on the daily. We'll do it on the weekly, but let's take care of the top side first. But it looks like on the top side, we're good. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are pretty much set there. Your pre-market high slightly lower than the previous day close at 86.32. So we'll put a level there, and we are basically set on that end. But 100 is another level here. Again, I don't think we're going to get a type of bounce. It's going to get us to around 95. Something big has to happen as far as that. I'm going to go back to the monthly because I remember last week we have not been here since 2017. So it's been some time, guys. We'll pick some levels off the monthly just to have some reference points. Obviously, I don't think we'll get to 59, but we do have in here 77. 68 could be a decent one, and we have 74. I think these are reasonable targets for today. And again, I'm doing off the monthly because I'm not going to go on the daily all the way back to 2016. Right, it's been a while since we've been down here. So pretty far down this morning on Baba here, guys. Continuing to drop. If you look at the daily here, they have not been doing very well with many of the Chinese stocks. JD is another one that you can have instead of Baba. I tend to like Baba a little bit better this morning, and for most part with their overall trading, I think it's a little bit cleaner than the other Chinese companies. Here is Apple this morning, guys. We do have a level here off the daily. This is going to be 152. Looks like 152.05. Towards the bottom low of the pre-market, 151.56, creating a nice little base here. Let's see if that is going to hold. And if we go back to the left here, last time we were down in these numbers was around October, November timeframe. So we zoom in here on the daily. We do have a level right over here at 147.67. And then in between here, let's see here. You got a good one here too, guys. 159.79. Might actually be 150. But that's a good one there. We did forget to bring out our Epic pen. Let's do that here. That's a good level there. That's been support and resistance for this stock for quite a bit. So right in here, you can see that action there. That is looking pretty good. If you draw a line across the board there, you can see that right there, 159.79. So I like Apple this morning. Looking pretty nice, pretty active, great volume, 2.7 down, 2%. Here's Neo, again, another Chinese ticker on the EV side now, taking a bit of a drop here, down for 5.4. They try to recover this morning, guys. It's coming right back down to the lows of the pre-market very early on this morning. All of these stocks, the gap down, Baba, JD, they all had a big gap down from a rough Friday. If you look at their Friday, it was not pretty. Baba was an amazing trade. That was my trade on Friday, Baba. What an amazing trade that was on Friday. So here we go. The high of the pre-market, pretty much the previous day close, and today we're looking to test this 15.10 one more time. Towards the top, guys, if you zoom into the daily action, we are pretty good right now as far as 19 through 16. This highs and lows from the last 2 trading days are doing an amazing job there. So you are pretty much taken care of there. Let's go to the left and see What we have below, another one that we have not been down here in quite some time. We're going to go down back to, what are we looking at here? 2020. So not as bad as Baba, but this one 2020 before we had some incredible breakouts. 1520, you can see that being a great level of support and resistance right on there. Below that, we do have a nice level here as well as 1535, and then all the way down here a couple of levels here, but I'm going to mark the one that sticks out the most, which is this one here, this 13 bucks really. You do have a level of support and resistance right on there on a Neo. So that is good for them. I think we're all set as far as levels goes for Neo on the daily. Pretty good right now, guys. 3 million shares traded. These things are definitely active this morning. Here's Oxy. Oxy's been good on the daily here, looking pretty nice. And I think our levels can stay exactly where they are right now. I'm marking down the 54.65, which you can actually bring down a little bit and just cover the pre-market lows here down at a 54.53. Actually, I could have left that where it was. 54.53. But towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Previous day close, struggling to get above this area here. But we know if these energy type companies, these oil companies, is really more about how that sector is trading that day. So yes, trade your technicals and all that, but really be aware of what the whole entire sector is doing, what the overall market is doing. That is affecting this more than the actual technicals, in my opinion. That's what I think Oxy tends to do. So keep an eye out for that. Oxy right now, I don't think we need to add anything else. We are all set when it comes to that. So all right, 9:10. Let's take a look if our moderators have any. It's a little early, but let's see if our moderators have anything up already. I see Tiffany and Dima already got their stuff on there. So that's good. We'll take a look at that. I see Peter reporting some no IPOs for today. So we'll look at that in a second. In the meantime, let's take a look at our secondary list. Here's JD. JD for the most part, again, good as well. A firm, some news here, and then just doing nothing. And this stock needs to look really good for me to add it to my list because it tends to be more choppier than not. So I'm not quick to jump on this one. If it's not looking great. SQ, I think needs a little bit more volume, but they tend not to have the best volume in the pre-market, so I am gonna hold off on these for now. Futu, King, yeah, they're actually in play as well. You can definitely watch this one. I'm gonna stick with Baba and JD as my secondary list. But this is another one. If you guys remember, we talked about just a sheer amount of Chinese tickers that are on this list this morning. I mean, they're taking over the list. NKLA, Momo, we had Neo, we have Lee, Baba, JD, Baidu. I mean, XPEV, Billy, I believe also is. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it is one of the better trading stocks as well. But they're all on here this morning, guys. Every single one of them. So you could take your pick there. I think even NKTR. No, this is different. This is a bio company. So yeah. Our gappers list on the green side is popping up a little bit here, growing at least. mRNA making an appearance this morning, up 2.7. Not great volume just yet. It's got a couple of other ones that are coming up here. They don't look so great right now, though, so we'll see where that goes. And our low flow for today, we have MULN down here. Again, price action pretty low. Price pretty low for me to trade. I'm not sure about that one. Then we have KSPC, another one that if it can hold here, these are the 2 low flows of the day. I do like KSCP a lot more. You do have a nice little pop here. We're kind of holding here. This is good. You don't want to start dwindling down here. It's just back to reality. If this can hold you, that can be a good opportunity for those who are trading lower flow stocks, right? So again, be very, very careful with those guys. Make sure you have the right experience and you have amazing risk management and discipline. If you don't have that, be real with yourself. You want to stay away from those because they'll make you pay big time. All right, moderators list is building up nicely here. We will get to that in just a second. In the meantime, anything that we miss? Frank giving us MGLD. So MGLD, let's take a look here. MGLD up 15% this morning. Looks like recent IPO. So I don't have a whole lot to go on by this based on dailies, but again, I had a couple of really good pops on Friday. Looks like from 4 to 7. So that's nice. This is more of see what happens type play. So careful on that one. What are they, by the way? May gold, something to do with gold, I believe. MGLD, Marigold, and I don't have a flow for them just yet because they're pretty new here. So no flow in trade ideas at the moment. Treat it like a low flow until you have other information that proves otherwise. This thing is moving very aggressive. Thoughts on XLE? So XLE is energy, right? I believe. I mean, this is just an overall ETF. I mean, it's just this. Can't give you much on this. You know, Brian and Jared probably can give you more details as they dig into a lot more with the sector stuff. For me, I wouldn't be specifically trading this, right? So those guys can give you a better answer. I know Brian will be trading live this morning. You can definitely throw that question to him again. I just don't dig into as much as they do as far as what's happening and all of that. I'm really just looking at what's happening that morning on stocks and doing the best we can, right? So they can answer better that. Anything else, guys, that we can get into? Yang, what is Yang? It's a Chinese company. Yang. ETF, looks like. Oh, China bear market times 3. Ooh. Oh yeah, that is doing very well, my friends. that is doing very, very well. 18 to 40. Again, just guys, leverage times 3. Be very, very careful with that one. Obviously, with everything going on, that is doing pretty good there. Okay, anything else before we get to our moderators lineup? Level 2 related questions. Zach, we got tons of videos, but yeah, you can ask that question. I will ask it in support. Ask your question in support there. Depending how detailed it is, you might be able to get a good answer. But yeah, we have a lot of videos on level 2 that Thor trades level 2 heavily. He could give you some really good answers on that stuff. All right, let's go to our moderators lineup, guys. We're getting to 9:14 now, so I'm going to bring this over. As I'm doing this, please hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very much. We are sitting at 137 likes, so a little bit low this morning. We'd love to be at 250. That is our sweet spot there. So if you could help us do that, if you haven't done so already, thank you very much in advance. All right, let's start here with Dima. She is looking at Apple, Baba, and Oxy. Jared is copying Dima's list. Thor is looking at SPY, Apple, AMD, Baba, and A-Firm. And Tiffany's looking at Baba and Apple this morning. Peter, his list, AMD, Baba, Neo. Secondary list, Oxy, A-Firm, and NKTR. So it's interesting how you can see here Dima, you can see here Thor also has Baba on there, Tiffany. You know, we basically have very similar stocks this morning. Although there's massive amounts of gap up and gap down stocks this morning, we're looking at the same thing because although we trade very different, we somewhat similar in our stock selection. So pretty close to what we're watching, and everybody's watching very not their usual, 6 to 5 stocks. I see only 2 stocks there, maybe 3. Dima has 3. So very light selection. We're in line here this morning, so that is nice. All right, Baba continues to drop here, guys. I'm definitely looking at this one very closely, down 7% right now. That is looking real nice. 9:15. Thank you those on YouTube for joining us this morning. We appreciate it very much. Remember, a couple of reminders tonight. We have the onboarding class at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you haven't had a chance to see what the community is about, you could do so with a discounted access of $24. Use pre-market 24 for the intro membership. And you get access to a lot, guys. You get access to the onboarding class tonight. You get access to the 2 different chat rooms for the entire week. So you're going to be able to see what's going on there, the live trading, get to meet some of our members and how great they are. Trust me, once you meet them, then you'll be stuck. It's not the moderators, it's the members in the community. Once these guys get a hold of you, you're in trouble. They're really nice people. So check them out, guys, and we will see you tonight. And if not, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. starting with Engineering the Markets, followed by the pre-market prep with Norm and I. Guys, have an amazing trading day to start off the week. We will see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.